I would have a lot of people ask me, I want to run, what should I do? And there's always three questions that I pose to them. Why do you want to run, right? What is your reason? What is your desire? What do you want to accomplish? I want to run for the sake of running. It's not a good enough answer because I don't think you'll be able to convince anybody at the door that they should vote for you.
I think the number one advice is know why you're running. And if you're running to make the country a better place, that's a good reason. If you're running because you want to be somebody or get a job, that's a bad reason. And it'll be obvious and you probably won't get what you're hoping for.
Je pense que c'est vraiment le numéro un. Si on y va, puis on le fait pas pour les bonnes raisons, on risque de s'ennuyer, on risque de réaliser qu'on a fait une erreur. Et les bonnes raisons, c'est de vouloir vraiment travailler pour le bien commun. Le gouvernement, que l'on soit de n'importe quel parti politique.
Where I should run, which community, which riding. My advice always has been that you run in the community that you live in, because that way you have a natural bond and a tie to that community.
If you're thinking about running, think about the riding you're in and figure out if you can map the networks of people to whom you can look for support.
The last question is when. Timing is also a very important question. If you are somebody who's thinking of running and you decide to run 6 months before an election, I would suggest to you, do it for sure, but your chances or likelihood of success are probably diminished by that much.
Je suis souvent demandée pour donner des avis à des gens qui considèrent se présenter. Je pense que le plus important, c'est juste soyez vous-même. Les gens peuvent vraiment sentir un manque d'authenticité de très loin. Et en plus, les campagnes sont déjà tellement épuisantes, ils exigent beaucoup d'énergie et ça prend encore plus d'énergie si on essaie de nous présenter comme quelqu'un d'autre.
The best thing to be in all those kinds of situations is to be yourself, to be as confident as you can be, have your facts together, do your homework, and if you don't know the answer to something, say, I'm sorry, I actually don't know the answer to that. Can I get back to you?
That's something that's really important in politics is being an authentic voice, not speaking to people as if you are just saying what you're supposed to be saying, but speaking to them as a community member, as a neighbor, as a friend.
I think you need a lot of patience, and I think you need to have a very thick skin. I also think that you need to be able to articulate your position and break it down in a language that everybody can easily understand. If you can't tell people what you think and why, no one is going to support your idea.
Fundamental to the decision to run is whether your partner or your loved ones support the decision. Having the full support, the unconditional agreement of your partner and your family to get into this, it's not just you who's going to be affected. I think that's hugely important.
Il devrait considérer, ou chaque personne qui veut être candidat ou candidat devrait considérer ce qui va se passer si c'est le gang. Mais je pense que la chose numéro un à faire avant de se lancer dans l'aventure, c'est de s'assurer que non seulement soi-même, mais que notre entourage va également être prêt à la réalité d'une victoire potentielle.
The best advice I ever received for those thinking about office is that you have to want this more than anything else in the world. And that is because this will have an effect on your life, on your career, potentially on your health, on your family. Your family has to be completely on board.
Really sit down, understand what you're getting to, and discuss this with your family, being fully aware of the commitment of time that this is going to take.
I would say raise a lot of money. It is one of the things that we often don't think about is that it often costs money to run for office. So there's an opportunity cost. Often you have to actually stop working for a while in order to run for a nomination, in order to do the work that you have to do to make yourself known in your community.
I think every good campaign has to run on funds because you have to pay for, all of the kinds of things in office. You have to pay for staff, you've got to print your brochures, etc.
If you want to run as a candidate, you have to be aware that money is a huge part of politics, and for the majority of people that don't have the money to back them up, you have to be creative and figure out new ways to get your message out there.
Well, financing campaigns are tricky because a lot of people are nervous about asking for money. And a lot of times you're in a community where maybe your party isn't the sitting MP, so there's not this this piggy bank full of money in your riding association. So you're really starting from scratch. So I think it's really important for people to be comfortable to ask for money and to have a strategy around that.
The campaign experience is also a persnickety experience around election rules and financing. So don't forget to make sure you need someone you will trust with your life to be your financial agent. Make sure that you prepare yourself fully to ensure that every single element of the Elections Act is respected. All the financial reporting is absolutely down to the penny.
The advice that I give to people that if you want to run for office, if you want to be in politics, then you should join a political party. That is always my starting point. Anybody who's thinking of running for office, that you need to determine what your political leanings are. Go to your local riding association, find them on the internet, and sign up for membership.
In the end, your number one best way of making actual real change in the direction this country's going, whatever direction you want it to be, is to get involved with a political party of any stripe.
Build a network of people that support you running for office. It could be a network of your friends and family. It could be a network of community leaders.
I always advise candidates to get out early, get as many endorsements as possible, and most importantly, focus on your own run. Don't focus on what other people are doing. You can't control what anyone else is doing, but focus on what you yourself can do.
Attend an annual general meeting, go to a rally, get involved, see if this is something for you. Maybe it is. Maybe you were born to do this and you didn't really know, and you've sort of been bitten by the political bug like I was. Or maybe you just are happy to be part of the process and contribute on a policy committee in your riding or help organize an event.